Okay, thank you very much for that. Those big ones. We now know we are with big men and women. Now this high table has a honorable on it, so my shoes seem to be too small. I would I think prefer starting on. Then the lady is going to help me bring the microphone to the high table. Yeah, I think that is going to work that way. Yeah, a quick one. Yeah, then we move. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Diana Queen Naikoro, and I work with Imuka Access. I'm the finance and admin. We hope to fulfill all your expectations as Imuka Access. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Mwesige Moses with Imuka Access. And I'm support you people with whatever ventures. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Good afternoon. How are we? Are we okay? Okay, I'm going to ask my colleagues to introduce themselves, and I'll start with they normally say ladies first. No. Why? If you are first, so you need to be second. So who needs to be first? Because she has insisted, will allow me to introduce myself.
Good afternoon. My name is Derek. I work within Africa. We're an information service, and we also offer training in business development, and we offer mentorship. And coaching and basically business services, a number of services that you're actually receiving here at A-Leads. It's a pleasure to be here, and I look forward to speaking to you all afterwards. Thank you.
Hello. How are you?
Sorry.
This is who are the English speaking. Yeah, I'm better. Speaking My name is Mbarara. I grow and sell Matoke torch, and I'm a business
strategist, a career strategist. I am a politician. I am a community builder. And now with Imuka, I am a local mentor for businesses and probably career, whatever direction you want to go. Because I am a researcher. Where that's that. Thank you. My expectation is that we learn from each other and actually not stop here as well, but continue guiding one another. Yeah. Thanks. Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable. In case you guys didn't know, if we have someone from was it Kashai or Mbarara district actually? Yeah. The other time she was contesting, and you know how Uganda elections can be. That's how it went. But yes, thank you very much. We are so glad to have you. It's only a few minutes to 3, so trust me, we are going to have a marathon of some of these things. Just like it is for every other African home, allow me first talk to you about Empower Youth in Technology, where we are seated today. We are an innovation and research center, usually known as innovation hubs. Started with a focus on tech, kind of startups as an incubation center for them to incubate digital enterprises or digital startups or digital innovations. But of course, as we went ahead, a few things, just like indeed it is true within several businesses, it changes as time goes on. Now, Empower Youth in Technology, yes, that is who we are. Incorporated in 2018, but later got to launch in 2019. Anyway, we are going to run a marathon, eh? Yes. So, but why did we actually have to start? It is very prudent that, and very, of course, unfortunate, one is going to be successful. The rest of the four are going to be failing, of course. And this failure rate, of course, is, attributed to that we did in this table, them and some of them were part of that survey for some results. 3 of their challenges around them run businesses or develop businesses by themselves, and the other one, of course, them not having enough capital, and the other one not having also to enter the market freely, promote themselves. So it was against that that we got these focus areas as an intervention. We help support young startups. We're talking about young businesses in 3 ways. Then we could just go back a little bit. After that, we are going to skip everything. Don't worry. So number 1 is through capacity building, and under that we have mentorship and but also trainings. Business innovation. Our second focus area being market and business communication and general promotion there. So we do provision of promotion services. That is why you're perhaps able to see A8 TV. That's why we are live. Also A8 Radio online. Now, that was in face of why, for example, if like we could at least advertise some of these things. But under that very one, we have, and we host every other staff to share their story. But still, what I had forgotten above from capacity building, these innovations that you see, some of them are from the capacity building I've been talking about. There's a team behind there. We have developers who act these young people through. Yes. Of course, not all are in tech. She talked about crafts. Someone talked about rabbits. Not all are in tech, but at least capacity building goes in that faith. Now, finally, is the startup financing initiative. The last one, I guess, maybe at the end of to be going through it, but also the books are around. We are so happy to be open for them, for you people. The whole idea was, A8 is itself a startup, just like I told you, we launched in 2019, but we are meant to support, again, startups. So when it comes to financing, we literally also need the money. We don't have that financial muscle, not support the startups. But we thought anyway, within our means, at whatever level we are at, we can actually find means of supporting fellow startups. And that's how we came up with the financing initiative. So far, 82 members have registered. They are saving. I guess we have witnesses here. They are taking loans, paying back. Free loans, yeah? You don't have to, own a land or own a car to acquire a loan, for example, of 2 million, yeah? You don't. You only need colleagues around to stand for you, take your 2 million, pay it in 6 months. If you can pay it in 1 month, it's okay. But at least that is what we can be able to afford as a YIT. Then also under that, we link and write and apply for funding opportunities. Now there are certificates of some of the innovations that have actually won. Yeah. Later, perhaps we are going to have a look from Ministry of ICT and other funders. Yeah. Write together, win, celebrate. She recently won. Yes. Chelsea. Yes. She recently won from the American Embassy. We have not had the certificate there yet. But at least she's saving, she can take a loan, but we also link her to these funding opportunities and we win together, yeah? So basically that is how Empower Youth in Technology, in the interest of time, how we do that is, number one, identify those startups, then train them, then we now digitalize their businesses. That's why you see this app, Accountant app. We make sure we at least customize your business to this app to manage your sales. We're talking about inventory. We're talking about every other thing to do with whatever little you've been writing on paper, you do. Then guzaug.com that you see also falls under digitalization. We list products that are made here in Uganda. That's why we are so happy when we heard that USIA is actually coming, because those are the guys that are producing for the country. So at guzaug.com is an e-commerce only sales that are made here in Uganda. To find that. Yes. Thank you very much. Now the fourth one is the financing that I talked about. Then later we promote and market them. We know the failure rate again still remains high, but at least we aim at having like at least only five a year that are gaining on each of these stages. Yes, thank you very much. That actually summarizes what happens at Empower Youth in Technology. The rest virtually will be a repetition of what we have already showed you, but it's an appeal that you could actually also find means we could work together, especially through the fund. We hoped we could open for you some saving, accounts, and you stand a chance, of course, for these very many things. Buy shares, take those hassle-free loans. We apply together with you. Even today there's a deadline that we are supposed to meet with different entrepreneurs. So there is at least in a small way we can actually grow together. Then when it comes to capacity building, now that's why Imuka Access is here. That's why we are gathered here to at least add something to our name or below our business names. Otherwise, thank you very much. We should be able to welcome Madam Jackie from say something, and I think after that we should be Imuka Access to go to the focus of the day. Otherwise, thank you very much. Enjoy your stay at it.
Thank you so much, Ayut. And like I said, my name is Umiza, and I'm the regional coordinator for IZIA. But before I go any further, I would like the chairman, since he has been here for years and years, to say something briefly, then as we proceed.
Mbarara, Southwest Regional Representative. Yeah. Mbarara,
a digital destination. For us, we see a good organization. Not meet all that. So today I'm very happy to come here, see what you are doing. And this is a very good region for Nigerians and also Ugandans. You come also doing museum, which I did with the producer, and we shall be working with the producer. And every time we shall come here to access this business, to know it, so that we can work together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mbarara. Yes, like you said, because of time, we started late. We were supposed to start at 1:30, but because of delays and other unpredictable circumstances, we had to start a little bit late, so we won't waste a lot of time for members who have been here ever since then. And here with me, before I proceed, I have a team from this year, the ones who are members. Kindly you can stand up for recognition. Those are some of our members. Others have not come, as you see, because of different time frame and other engagements these days. Parish development model is taking everyone around. So that's why most of the members are here. But others, of course, calling and saying they are late, they have meetings and all that. But all in all, we thank God we are here. And with Imuka access, I know much is going to come from you guys. And we look forward to working with you for whatever you have brought on the table. And then with Uzia, I call upon everyone. As we are here, they've already said they know us. And we are looking forward to having more engagements with them as we are looking at Uzia as a team supports the SMEs in development of different stages of their startups and macro startups and much more through trainings in value addition, like you heard what the members here are doing, and much more because they train, they support. And now, like for example, there is an aspect that came for beef handling practices where members learned on how to add value into beef, making sausages, making different products from beef that we didn't know. And as I talk now, the machines from Uzia, and that was an encouragement from this year. The machines are already on the way, they are coming, and we are looking to start very soon. So if you see Mbarara as the first in producing beef products, just know it's courtesy of Uzia. And then we have another group which is also not here, which deals with horns, making value addition into horns, and Western region being the best in cow production, horn production, and cow rearing. Definitely, Uzia felt like it's the best place where this initiative can take place. And also the machines are already on the way for the team that learned much about value addition in horns, making necklaces, making shoes, making the buttons. So yeah, exactly. All the key holders, all these products are going to be on the market very soon. Actually, others have already started, but of course they are working it on local pace as the machines come. But as the machines get here, everything is going to be on the market. And there are definitely other, I can't say much, but what is in store is much more than what you've heard and what is here. Many projects are coming up because Uzia at the moment is working with 45 stakeholders, different stakeholders, and you can imagine the knowledge and what is coming from all these people. So Mbarara, I should say we are blessed, much as it's countywide, but so far we are blessed to have these people on the ground. And then also, I'm very sure with Imuka access, there is much more that is coming. And I would encourage other members who are here and those of Uzia members, you need to always embrace this kind of trainings and initiatives that come our way, because you don't know who's going to bring what on the table, or what knowledge, or what skill, or what access, whatever you need for your business, mostly the business entities. We need these people. We cannot do it alone, so we need different stakeholders here to work together to make sure like our startups, also we find ourselves like you're already an established entity somewhere, working for yourself and giving a testimony that is from here, I started from A and now I'm at Z because of this and this. So I look forward to learning more about Imuka, and we look forward to working together as a team and making sure everyone in this room benefits from one another and other people that are outside there that have not come, getting access to the information that you brought. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you. Thank you very much. We are also very, very glad, of course, to hear the progress to see. You are our eyes when it comes to the region. I mean, all eyes on you. We hope to get there with you. Now, I'm a good follower of Patrick Lumumba, PLO. And he once told the story of a farmer who had actually a chicken farm, but one day he adopted from the farm, chicks went and came back with a chick of an eagle, and he was convinced that he's going to feed this eagle chick, I don't know how to call it, but the chick of the eagle, he was convinced he's going to feed it on the same feeds as chicken, as chicks, the real chicks. Eaglets. Okay, I'll call it the eaglets. So at one point he thought he's going to have it turned into another kind of breed of chicken, yeah? He convinced the village this is actually going to work out. Cutting the long story short, a few months down the road, they did a test. He said, now, you guys, I told you, and this is going to be the first kind of the breed of an eagle that we are going to have around. And they tested, tried to make it fly, kind of flew, and then came back and joined the rest of the chicks. And then he told you, now can we bet? Are you ready with bets? And yes, indeed they did, yeah? But this time when they tried, you remember the way they let, you remember when the peaceful means went wrong here in Uganda, yeah? With the religious kind of leaders trying to make the birds fly. And so that was the same thing, yeah? So he tried to make it fly, and this time it flew and flew and flew and never came back, yeah? And that's where the saying came from, that no matter how long you feed an eagle chicken feeds, an eagle remains an eagle, and chicken remains chicken, yeah? Eagle remains the king of birds, yeah? It's the highest respected when it comes to birds. Now, Imuka access, yeah? Today is here to assure us, by the way, that we are meant to fly and fly and fly, and not just remain around as chicken. Because we are eagles anyway, yeah? In the interest of time, ladies and gentlemen, should I welcome Honorable Oyi, you are coming there. Okay. So when he got a microphone, he was the loudest. We want to believe he's the guy that is going to speak last, perhaps. But allow me now welcome Honorable. We're going to give you another chance to summarize, because we understand now you're in the business side. We could pick one or two words from you, and then later we hear from Mr. Eric. And then Imuka is going to finalize. Thank you very much. Yeah, that is
How are you once again? Now that you also hear a story.
You are all
Entrepreneurs, right? You are entrepreneurs.
Yes.
What makes you an entrepreneur? What makes you feel you are an entrepreneur?
I'm an entrepreneur because I'm a problem solver with an interest of getting profit,
Yes.
with taking risks as my first priority.
Well done. Thank you so much. What we are connected out of 100.
Thank you very much.
Well, you could say that. Anyway, now I want to say something small because as far as I see Uzia and the people who have been with it, and probably before I go in detail, thank you for the work you're doing. I'm a social media person. I actually see everything that he has been doing. I complain to myself, I never call him. Sometimes I can watch and I say, but why did he do? Not about you, sir. These are common things that you need to know, that the feedback.
Yes.
And at one time I wanted to give you feedback, but you know, we can be lazy. We can be entrepreneurs who are just laying back and we are leaving things to take course on their own. So, but I thank you very much, Kate. The work you're doing is very good. I can see you're gaining followers. You started with 19, 20. Now there are some posts I see 1.3K. Don't you? Yes. I'm saying, yeah, there are some of your posts.
Thank you very much.
I want to be honest that I have heard about Uzia. I think when you said it is coming to Mbarara, that's when I hear about it. I don't know. So I want to know more. I know it might be my weakness. But if I had the capacity to sponsor Uzia to appear on the Youth TV at least once every week. Because the information that Madam was giving us, that key holder that you put up, those are the things, those are the products, those are the solutions.
These are new products.
These are new products. And we are here, we are together, but because the theories tell us, the theories of research and they tell us, you see, I have become too local, and sometimes I am also tending to that locality, but because I read a bit, so they tell you, when you are using research, you are doing academic, but that is the academic that is supposed to shape. We are supposed to pick some academic and put it into reality. So what I sense is that we need to promote one another. If I know the needs and I'm here and I'm planning a new product, why don't I come and even show that soon I'm going to be producing such a thing? So you people who are buying it from Nairobi, please start giving that money for what? So, entrepreneurs of Sri Lanka, problem solving, and we have to cut down on any entertainment and increase on educating our minds. And how are you going to educate your mind? It is by watching Eight TV. Eight, am I saying this properly? And by meeting here and by consulting. The Wanyakode have a proverb that Ngambanya Ikepaparachi. You see, you remain at your 50%. But if you consulted, even if I'm not in your area of production, you don't know what I know. You may not know what I know. I told the story, let me just tell it in short. For me, one time I was selling the grocery, and someone advised me I had to sell buto, cooking oil, but not the packed buto. Because packed buto, 3,000, if you don't have it, you want to fry an egg for your child, you need buto of 200 shillings, so 1,000. So I started measuring cooking oil of chikuni. And you put in that white container and you tie. Trying to be very careful and maybe also by nature. I was actually slow, but I didn't know. I didn't what? I didn't know. So there was one customer. He met and said, but madam, you are too slow. I was measuring Ruto. He was there waiting, and he took the courage to tell me that I was actually being too what. So let me tell you, an entrepreneur, you don't know anything actually. If you want to be successful, you just know you don't know what. You don't know anything, and anytime you're going to meet someone, you should open your mind to learn something. And now let me go to, I know as far as I see the way Nancy Rabbit, I know that girl, she can calculate her things. So I'm not going to talk much about money and saving and all those things. I know those things are what they are very clear to you. But I want to go to one point, which I know in the West, in the Western part, I'm sorry, Eric, but you know, I have different way in here. So here we have a problem of communication, the way we communicate. So there was one lady who was managing her business very well, and suppliers were complaining. Her suppliers were not being paid in time. So they complained and complained. Then she called the accountant and everybody and said, I don't want to have a bad relationship with my suppliers. When the money is there, please pay them. You get? She said, please pay them so that they are happy and we continue with business. So that communication was implemented. It was what? Implemented. Suppliers started getting their money in time. Now, one day she wanted to capitalize her business. She wanted more money. She went and borrowed, did all papers for loan application and what. She got a loan. She got a loan. She was at the bank signing. You know, banks now, when you have everything, they sign and they post your company goes. When they posted that money, she wanted that money for something, for a certain project. By the time she went back to her office, she found when the accounts department had paid half of the money to suppliers. They have already implemented what? The other concept. The loan money has already gone to what was not planned. How do we communicate? Especially women. Today you are saying this, you are not checking how it is going, tomorrow it has back. Not only women, and even young people, and I think all the men are by mistake. He might not even tell you that the problem has happened. But we need to keep a system. And by the way, when we say systems, people like using the word systems. Systems means there is a method. There is a person for that method. There is a person implementing that method. There is a person who checks that method, whether it is working. So, in short, an entrepreneur does what? Listens. An entrepreneur sees beyond, and an entrepreneur communicates clearly. You have to keep changing those methods. If you are not getting what you think you want, you have to keep changing those methods. And now, that is why such a collaboration is very important. That is why the lead becomes very important. I feel I regret why I was not talking to him, yet I was seeing everything that he's doing. So we need to intensify. Kanza wanakole tunaanza woman. Echimkwezi yani nchimanya. Echimkola manya. I don't need. Because you walk up the way. Much checker. But that way of doing things cannot help. Because business person and entrepreneur should be able to, because even the young person can tell you what you want to do. So in short, intensify intensify your ability to listen and to see where you're going, and the ability to accept that you can be criticized, receive that criticism, do a solution to that critique, and move on. Those words, two things: that when you have information, when you have a mentor, and the mentor might not be an individual, it might be these WhatsApps, it might be the books, it might be a conference like this, but it will save you 10 years of struggle. It is a researched conclusion that with mentorship, you can save yourself 10 years of struggle at any level. Waba wabanza kumalira ikumi akakola kwa milioni 10 wabumanuye kuzaha muntu omudisho muntu pia atwalize, you can reach in less than 2 years. Lastly, a tree that flourishes very, very nicely always has someone who waters it. So as an entrepreneur, you need to water your brain, because entrepreneurship, whatever you're doing, is actually your brain implementing actions and ideas. So those ideas need a lot of trickle, but the man of Tonyam, what is, you understand? The man of Tonyam, don't do one approach. Don't use one knowledge. Don't use one advisor. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I take the phone out.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon once again. As I said, I work with Fin Africa. We're an incubation service and offers training as well. So I'd like to share something with you as well that's happened in the past in Fin Africa. And basically it supports what Roy is going to go into later on. He's going to go extensively into telling you how to scale your business. And it's important to scale and to think big, think bigger than your local environment. And we once had investors approach us. They knew that we had a number of incubatees. We had around 13 incubatees at the time. What they were looking for was incubatees to invest in, but they had a minimum investment of initially $800,000. That was the initial. They already invested in 4 companies in Nairobi. They invested over $1 million in each of these companies in Nairobi. They came to Uganda. They were looking around for investment opportunities. They dropped it. They dropped the figure because they couldn't find investments and companies worth investing for 800. They dropped it to 600,000. They still couldn't find incubators to invest in. They came to us and we did an analysis on all our incubators. None of them were in that region. None of them were worth investing that much money. They didn't have the capacity to absorb that type of investment. Yeah? Because all of them were just thinking locally. They were thinking small, they were serving their local environment. Yeah? So that's why I would say it's important to grasp what you can from what Roy is going to discuss next. You have to think big, think of scaling, never think of stabilizing, never be comfortable where you are. It's important because you can do much more than you believe you can. Yeah? There's much more demand than you believe there is. There's demand in different areas, different locations, different countries even. Think global. Yeah? And that's what I want to share with you for now. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you very much, Mr. Eric. The accent was okay? Really, yeah?
Apologies for the accent.
Yeah, it seems a little bit. Okay. Very well punished. Yeah, but we'll get there. So, we are going to welcome now the guest, I would call him, of the day. We gathered here because of what he's about to be telling us. But just like the biblical Moses, before he was it Moses? The one that didn't know to speak very well, but they told to go and, yeah? Yeah? Aaron. No, it was not Aaron. Okay?
Yes, Moses, but he requested for Aaron to help him speak.
Okay, so whoever he is, there's a figure in the Bible that God asked what he had, and he said all he had was a stick. Yeah? You remember? Who was that figure?
Moses.
It was Moses, huh? Yeah. So just like God asked him what he had, and then allowed him to go and talk, yeah? It's the same way we literally, I was supposed to give you these books, yeah? But a book and a pen is going to go to the 6, the most serious, like the most, those who are going to contribute more than the rest in the next session, yeah? You're going to win yourself a book and a pen, yeah? So your stick now is how you speak. Then we can give you the gift, yeah? Thank you very much. Ndugu Roy, thank you. You're welcome. Take on. We hope we enjoy this session. The trophy is here. Nothing like we are lying. Eh? Contribute. You could even win if they don't get to be 6, at least if there are 3, for example, the 3 are going to win two books and two pens. Yeah. If it is only one contributing, then it's taking all the books. So you see. Roy, thank you very much. You're welcome.
You know, when everybody says, oh, what Roy, everybody raises a lot of expectations. Huh? But I'm humbled to be here. Thank you so much for taking your time and being part of this. I think you deserve a round of applause. So when I say I want you to give yourselves a round of applause, you do 1, 2, 3, and your legs 1, 2, 3. Can we try that? 1, 2. Repeat again, times 2. All right, great.
People are doing one leg.
It should be so, but it keeps you also. So I hope I'll be assisted on the slides, but before I proceed to the slides, I want to introduce myself. My name is Roy Masipia Gatuo, and I am the lead at Imuka Access. And to us, Imuka Access is like a mission, it's like a journey. And we were inspired by the fact that we felt as Africa, we have always found ourselves as beggars. You have 1 square mile of land, but you still go begging for 10,000 for lunch. Yeah. Are we together? So, to us, we started asking ourselves a lot of questions. Why? The question was, why? Why is it that we consume and prefer coffee from outside than within? Why do we consume toothpaste from outside than from within? We actually don't trust ourselves. Why do we prefer? Did you know that you can make a bulb? You can actually buy a machine to make a bulb. As you don't think complicated. We have machines that you can use to make a bus fence. We actually realize that most of the things we see, we just believe we can't, and it is entirely within the mind. And on our side, as Imuka and as a person, were privileged. I was privileged to go through a journey of hustle, where from a tender age I've been involved a bit in one thing or another, learning, failing, etc. And we also got a chance to go with some entrepreneurs outside Uganda to see how entrepreneurs are doing their stuff outside. And what I found very interesting is we can find, if I asked how long you've done your businesses, many will say, yeah, 1 year, 2 years. If it is 1 year or 2 years, I can almost guess the amount of money you're making. If it is 5 years, chances are maybe it is just like a show. Okay? And there you find one year he has started. The third year he is not in his country, he is in 3 continents. By the year 3, you ask, what is the difference? Why is it that here somebody will struggle for 10 years, he will still the same person, the business will continue not even being better, but worse. It also gives him hypertension, blood pressure, and as he dies, the business also dies. Then the kids also start, they hustle. They do not inherit a hustle. They start their own hustle. Start the journey again. The same cycle. So you realize on our side, most of our businesses start and continue starting. Yeah? It's like you start the vehicle and you continue starting. It doesn't move. It doesn't move at all. While outside, somebody starts and passes the baton. Yeah? You've seen a race, 4x1. Starts, passes the baton, the other one runs. The other one is in energy. Now, many times you start your business, you have the ideas, but it reaches a point, you've tried and you've reached a certain level which you need to accept that it needs further brains and further creativity. Somebody comes in with better energy, more creativity, more knowledge, takes it to another level. And it goes to another level. Coca-Cola is over 100 years. Which African company is over 100 years? Over 100 years. So we don't have generational businesses. We have individual business, not even family. Because the family, the way we nurture, we start, the father says, now, my son, I want you to go and hustle. Maybe you can take this piece, you go and hustle. Not how can you, based on the education you've taken you to market, how can you now add the way we started this tourism industry, based on how technology is moving, what do you think we can do? You understand? Many times, even the parents, as we involve them in a way that they are not bringing the creativity and sort of the youth. Like if it is agriculture, maybe he has gone and done food science. Maybe he can bring value addition. But for you, you want him to now go and, which probably he feared and hated. So he wouldn't come, he would actually want to avoid and go to Kampala and do other things. So we don't inject the new blood, the new creativity in our businesses. Anyway, the point is our approach, our perception of how we do things change. And I thought it would be better for me to start with the instruction God gave us. When God created Adam and Eve, what did he tell them? Anybody? I was told active participants will win something at the end. So what did God tell Adam? Yes. You have no idea.
Can I try?
Please.
Not eat the forbidden fruit.
That was a warning, an instruction. What instruction?
Take care of the world's creation.
Take care, close. You seem to have an idea.
To go in the world and take over and produce and bear many fruits.
Exactly. This was the first instruction. Now, many times we curse God because we are poor, isn't it? Many times we curse God that we are poor. But when you go back and see what God told you, you actually realize He did His part. It's now up to you to do your part, which you are not doing. His instruction was, be fruitful. Be, I want us to repeat, be fruitful. Be fruitful. That was the instruction of God. Created you and said, be fruitful. Can you produce fruit if you don't have seed? That means He put seed. And the seed needs to? It needs to get fertilizer. It needs to go into the soil. That means it needs to overcome a few challenges. It needs to grow. Okay? Storms and wind will pass and you will still, and then you will reach a season where you will start bearing fruit. But that is phase one, be fruitful. So, you have seed, you have probably a good idea, a good business model. We now need it to start serving people and generating for you money. In other words, it needs to serve, isn't it? Now, the moment it starts serving, the next instruction He gave is multiply. Now, in Africa, most of us, we reach the fruit. Once the fruit is generating some money, we become comfortable. The tree is producing enough fruit, and we become comfortable, and we chill. But what God said is multiply. In other words, this seed that He put can actually make a forest, isn't it? In other words, once you produce that unique yogurt product that we enjoy in Mbarara, we now want to see that yogurt in South Africa. We now want to taste that yogurt in Egypt. Now, the moment you say, I want to have the largest yogurt brand in Africa, how you approach your business totally changes. The moment you declare, and that declaration is what we call a vision. That declaration is what we call a vision. So many times, we do not go so far in our businesses because we do not invest time to create a vision of how far we want to go. And how far should not be near, it should be far. That's why we say how far you want to go. And how far should be far enough than your current capacity. That is why the first female president of Africa, the first female African president, getting how to call it. She's called Sir Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. She once said, if your dream should be bigger than your current capacity to implement. If your dream does not scare you, it is not big enough. That's what she said. She ended up being president of Liberia. So, your vision should be big. Somebody should say, come here. Okay? Usually that is like you've set a compass. And we know that a ship cannot move if it is on one side and it has to go the other direction. Do you think it can move if the captain has not set the compass where it is going to go? we start the engine. Can it go without direction? Can it? Hey, am I talking to myself? Can a ship go anywhere if it has not set the direction where it is going? No. It's a no. It's a no, isn't it? That means if you don't set a vision, then we do not expect you to go far in anything in your business. It will be for survival. It will be business for survival because there is no direction, there is no compass. And that is my starting point. I'm here to talk about scaling your business because Imuka Access is all about starting small but thinking big and going the big way. But that starts with a vision. Without a vision, even the wisest king by the name of Solomon told you, well, there is no vision. I know, okay, for Solomon, he mentioned something in terms of God created the rich and the poor, and he gave them both sight. There are those who see, and there are those who don't see. So, there are those he gave sight, but they do not see. In other words, they do not use their vision. While some use their vision and go far. It looks like in Africa, we were given sight, but we do not see. But others come and see the potential of Africa. And when we see them delivering the potential, we say they are stealing our ideas. Are we on the same thing? Are you seeing the point? So, number one, for you to scale your business, you have to have a vision. And a good vision, I want to pick one business and just give an example. Give me any business.
The rabbit business.
Rabbit business, what do you do? What's your product?
The rabbit business, we have droppings where we do fertilizers.
What is your core product?
The core product is rabbit meat.
Rabbit meat. So I can say I want to have a rabbit brand because it's now not meat. It has to be a rabbit brand. The same way you have, which is the, I've seen at least sausage, international brand. What is the international sausage brand that you know? Farmer's Choice. You know that brand? Farmer's Choice. You hear about it, but you'll find it in supermarkets. Farmer's Choice. So, for example, you start a rabbit brand. It sees as being rabbit meat and droppings. The droppings become a fertilizer brand. And you say, now, I want to have this brand in all households in East Africa. The moment he starts thinking about that, he will not think of the 26 people she's training. She will think of how she can synergize with other people. And she focuses on the market and ensures that there is more rabbit being produced. Actually, one of the entrepreneurs, but she was more of a partner because she also works with entrepreneurs, but she has her own business. She supplies Carrefour and she does not have enough rabbit meat. Okay? So I'm imagining now for her, she already has the market, she cannot supply Carrefour enough. The maximum she can supply is, say, 10 kilos a week or 40 kilos a week. And she has a big product. Now, if you can be able to either multiply that, so that people know you are known for, okay, the business will take a different dimension. You will realize even the thought process of how you approach it is different. Okay? When you think of a rabbit brand, it will now cease being you. It will now cease being about you. It's about us. And that is why whenever we come to share with the entrepreneurs, I always recommend, can I talk to the ones who have started and are looking to scale? Because when you start, it's about you and surviving, isn't it? But when it's about scaling, it's now about us. It's about how you can synergize in a bigger team, a bigger productive potential to actually go to another level. And that is the mindset it takes to scale. You cannot scale as you have to scale when you get the right team of expertise and research to actually take you to another level. And your vision has to be big. Are we on the same page? So when you start, the vision is key. So may I ask the slides to be... Okay, so number one, for those who are thinking to scale their businesses, you have to have a vision. Your vision should challenge you. It's something that you will not achieve now. It's something that will challenge you to wake up every single day and say, I've always seen mothers die in hospitals every day. I want no mother to die in hospital out of childbirth because of this. If that is a vision that wakes you up every day, you will want that service or that opportunity to be in every hospital. For that to happen, trust me, it takes a difference. You will need expertise, you need resources, you will collaborate, and because you are serving many, okay, and that's why he said, be fruitful. People come to you because you have something they want, isn't it? So a fruit is something people want that they can consume. So the more fruit you produce, the more it's available to be consumed, and as much, and because of that, they'll be able to pay you for the fruit. So the more fruit you produce, the more you earn. So you don't need to start saying, I need to make more money. What do you need to do? You need to do what? You need to serve more people. You need to target more. The billionaires you see in the world are following the principle of serving more. Any top company you see in the global market, it's because it has so many consumers. It's because of the number of consumers who give it money. True or false? You will not earn if people are not appreciating your product. During COVID, the fastest growing company was Zoom. Zoom grew, and its value of something you cannot see or touch, the value of Zoom was bigger than 7 aeroplane companies put together. The things that you can see and touch. The value of something you cannot see or touch was more than 7 airline companies in the world. Why? It served a need of people during that time when they needed to communicate and add value. Okay? So quickly, as Imuka, our vision is to support 1 million businesses in Africa. And the million businesses in Africa, we want at least 1,000 to make 1 billion. In other words, we want to help support at least 1,000 unicorns. Now you see, that is a vision. It means we have to work extra hard. We need to find a way to synergize with UCIA, EID, and so many other like-minded partners to identify who is out there, who is that ambitious entrepreneur, who can grow and generate $1 billion. It's not little money. Even $1 million is a lot, so $1 billion. It means you are serving a huge chunk of the market. That means you are thinking beyond just Uganda. Are we together? So we are looking for those entrepreneurs as Imuka. And our aim is to support these entrepreneurs, business development support, and access to financing. So our role is to activate these people to think, to now scale. There is growing, but scaling means multiplying what you have. So we want people who have the fruit. Okay? We want people who have the fruit. That means the fruit is already being consumed. But now we want to start the conversation. How can we multiply this fruit so that it can serve more? But as it serves more, you're actually generating more. Okay? So that's what we do as Imuka. And why we do this? We do it because we feel we have a sense of duty as Africans. How can you be the beggar throughout? Africa has the largest amount of resources, but we are the biggest beggars. We are always in debt as countries, isn't it? We have the biggest resources, but we are also the biggest beggars. In other words, we are not producing. We are only consuming. So we want to generate more producers. And you can only do that by supporting entrepreneurs who are thinking in that direction. We are dedicated, we share the ambition of the entrepreneurs who want to go that far. So if you can look at a football player or a basketball player who is talented in your division, we've all been in our homes and we've played with people who we have seen are very talented, very unique. You play with him and say, this guy is so good. But after 5 years, he's still the same. In fact, he went to hustle and start carrying maize for somebody. But he had a gift. So we felt as Imuka, we need to help these people who have this fruit and help them, water them, as she said, water, put fertilizer, give them the direction. Just like a football player needs a coach and an advisor to help him be visible and connect with the right team so that at some point he can play Champions League. It's the same way we are trying to look for businesses and help them technically to think technically in the direction where they can scale. And as they scale, they're able to serve, impact, and deliver the right opportunities. Please go to the next. Try to go a bit faster. So when you have a fruit, you need to grow fast. Many of us, when we do a business and we start making money and we are making profit, we feel we are there. Even if you are making profit, the next thing is you should grow very fast. Now there is something when you come to investors world, you always find we need to create barriers to market. They call it barriers to market. Barriers to market means when I start serving many people my product and my product is very good, it will be very difficult for these people to start consuming another product in the future that does what I do. Are we together? So if you are doing a unique product, we always encourage you to grow so fast, serve many, so that it's very difficult for somebody to start coming to penetrate your market. In other words, you are creating barriers to entry. So scaling means once you have this unique product, you want it to go so far, and you create a barrier so that others cannot come in your market. And that's why we say you need a good business idea, good business model. You're already generating, but you need to pump in capital so that you scale that unique fruit so that we can multiply and serve many more. Are we together? Next. So, for those ones who are thinking of scaling, obviously you'll always find you have to interface with a number of financials and investors. What are some of the things that you need to pay attention to? One, investors are always keen to see how you are managing your finances. Okay? Your financial systems, are you documenting? Every day you use border, you don't record. You eat lunch, you don't record. When you feel you are broke, you take some money to go out. Okay? So these things, if you know you need to pick some money from the business, establish how much you always need so that you attach that as your muscle, isn't it? Are you together? Because now you start being accountable to the business. And when you create that system, if somebody else comes, they know, oh, boss always takes this amount of money and these are the salaries. Now systems will start coming into place. Okay? So how you manage and document. Many times you can document other things but not what you do and what you take in the business. Okay? As such, what I have seen businesses where they are saying they are making money but they actually don't have capital. In other words, they are using more than what they are making. And in other words, they are eating their capital. And then at some point you actually find the business closing because they ate the entire capital. So, and you cannot know if you don't document. What are you spending and how much are you making from your spend? Okay? Because in business you should gain more than what you consume. But if you consume more than what you are gaining, you are naturally eating the capital. And you are going to close. Two, for those who are also keen on investment is, what do you need money for? If I'm trying to scale. I came to realize that in Africa we have what we call an ownership syndrome. Call it an ownership syndrome. This is mine. This is my car. This is my land. This is my border. So when you want to expand, the first thing is we need to buy 10 acres or 1 square mile of land. 1 square mile of land is likely to be how much? Okay, let's say on a smaller figure it's 1 billion. isn't it? I need 1 square mile of land, then I need to set a facility of 200,000, then I need working capital of 500,000. That's 1.7 billion, isn't it? Simple numbers. And this man comes from China with the same budget, 1.7. Instead of buying land of 1 billion, which is 1 square mile, he leases 2 square miles at 200 million. Then he has about 1.3 billion as working capital, and then sets up same machine. Will you compete with him? Will you compete with him? So for us, we focus on physical and owning. I need to own. But we are even here temporarily. Why should you spend time on, instead of using that money to produce more? Now, that is what we don't see. That is something that I thought is very critical. So we prioritize wrong. We think more of the money than putting money into productive use. And when you don't put money into productive use, you find you've invested in the wrong things. For example, for me to recoup 1 billion of the land, I'll probably need years. But if I put it as working capital within a year, it would have actually generated that 1 billion that I can buy land. But we don't reason that way. We feel we have to see that 1 square mile of land. In fact, it may take us 6 months to get that 1 square. This guy will take just a month to get. So even the time we waste. Are we on the same page? That's where we misfire. Then misappropriation. Now, because you don't have a vision, they give 1.7. The first thing you buy is first your home, a palatial home. You build a palace. Then you the 700 million is the one that remains for you to consume. So priorities, because the vision is not there, it's not a priority. When money comes, we prioritize on other things. I worked with an entrepreneur where they approved money, and the first thing was a BMW. Very nice new brand packed outside. We had not even been paid for the services we offer. They cancelled the money. Sometimes, without a vision, the money will also confuse you. Why you need to set a vision is money can confuse you. Money can, and trust me, you will know people when money comes. Money changes people. Okay? 3, leadership and talent. When you start the business, you start alone, many times, or with a partner. But as you grow, you need more competence, more skill. Okay? And that is where you need to collaborate, synergize. You need the best expert if you want to have the best product. So you should not fear affording the best expert. And that's why when you go to an investor and say, I need 700 million and 200 million to get experts for us to have a global brand, they will give you. Did you know that? Just for talent they will give you. But for us, that guy wants a lot of money. That money is too expensive. You focus on people who are not of that level where you are trying to go. If you want a winning team in Champions League, which teams do you know that win Champions League? Do you see the quality of players? Now we are off season. All of them are trying to get the best talent, and they are paying a lot of money. Why? They are not looking for cheap players. They are looking for quality talent. In business, it's not any different. You have to look for the best talent. And usually you can negotiate. Now in investment, you can actually even give them some stake in your business and pay them something, and they help you get to where you want to go. Because sometimes you need a certain level of talent to go to another level. Okay? Okay, so I've talked about, and then scaling strategies. I think I've talked about the example of land. Priorities. With that one, if I lease land for 200, I would have over 800 as working capital. Whether I decide to do outlets, whether I decide to get to partner with supermarkets or whatever, I'll have my products everywhere in every shop. While this other person will be struggling to even have it in Mbarara. They won't even have the trucks to transport. Now, that is difference. It's just strategy. It's just strategy. We have the same amount of money, but the approach is different. Next. So, these are some of the things you need to pay attention to. When it comes to scaling, what approach are you taking? Okay? So you've always had people say, we want you to be investment ready, investment ready, investment ready. What does that mean? In simple terms, investment ready, okay, a typical investment ready initiative looks at this entrepreneur is sober, committed, he knows what he's doing, he has the expertise, this product has potential. In other words, it's a fruit, it has a lot of potential, people want to consume this. So we need to ensure that this product is in every household. Now for this to happen, we need to help the entrepreneur to prioritize. You've seen the issue of the land, prioritizing. Then help you build a business structure. Now, if you are an expert in production, then you probably need to add a commercial manager so that we build this other side that you are weak. And that's where teamwork, talent development, leadership. Because you'll not be the best CEO. Sometimes you may be the best CEO in your startup, but in the growth phase, you probably need to hire a CEO. These are things you have to accept, my dear. Okay? Then clear plan. A plan is based on a vision, a direction. So a plan will be based on the vision. Then you budget, you do your projections, then you determine where you need to put your money, you will prepare the documentation. So at the end, if you are presented before investors, you have a demonstrated strategy. You have a justified capital need. Like when you say I need this, people appreciate, yes, this money is required because it will achieve this. And then it's easy for them when they check your paper, they say, oh, financials are there, IDs are there, things are okay. And then the way you presented the business is not risky to an investor. You see, when you are getting investors' money, it is external money. It is external money, it's not your money. Imagine you giving somebody else to do business with your money. Many times we don't think in the investor's shoes, we think in ourselves, whatever money, the problems we are going through. Okay? And that's where we go wrong. These people are willing to support you, but they want you to think the way they think. How can you prioritize in a way that they will see how their money is being utilized fruitfully? Okay? Because they are also sweated to get that money anyway. Are you together? So, prioritize. Okay? So when you present in a way that they feel the business approach is less risky, they will want to give you the money. There is no reason why they wouldn't give you the money. Okay? And as Imuka does, now that's what we do. We help entrepreneurs become investment ready. The way I mentioned, if you have this talented athlete in the village that needs a coach to say, yes, you have the talent, but you have to have the discipline. Run around every day, 30 rounds. Then kick the ball every day, 100 times. That is the coach. Now, if you want to understand what Imuka does, it's almost that. Then when we present you before potential investors, they feel, this is the business. I think based on the market, we can conquer Sudan. Because for them, they want their money to take brands in different places. Now, if they find a vision, if an investor finds the vision that aligns with what they're trying to do, why should they invest in your business? Why? What's the reason? Next. Okay. Next, please. So these are some of the companies we supported many others. What we've realized is when we started that journey, we didn't think of doing this program of going everywhere. But once we supported a few and we noticed, now these people can take their products to South Africa. We have one who is exporting leather products in Japan, the US. We felt, there's something. Why don't we try and spread this love and see if we have potentials, if we have potential seeds that can multiply the potential of their products. So these are some. And so far, in the short time, we've been able to help entrepreneurs raise a total of about $5 million. Some, in some cases, it could be more, but some, you find the funds have been approved, and the entrepreneur either, for whatever reason, either does not respond on time, or so we've also had those scenarios. Okay? Next. Okay, so how are we approaching it comes to scale up. The way a business is almost the way a child in nursery is. It's the way education system is. You start from kindergarten, you go to primary, you go to secondary, you go, and all these places you need teachers. So don't think AH can support you, you see I will support you, leverage on all those. We are all proud for you to have passed through our hands. It's not about me, it's not about you. See, it's not about elite. Our aim is to have people we can be proud of. Imagine a teacher saying, hey, you see that minister? He was my student. Don't you feel okay? Don't you feel happy? So in the same way, just like the way talent will start from primary and go to Champions League, it will meet different coaches. So we are also in that journey just to help you now on scale. You've started. Now you need maybe to set up bigger infrastructure, or you need to create another opportunity. So we collaborate, and that's what you are seeing. We are here because partners have made it possible. You see we've also been at Ekai. It's because of the partners that we are here. And we couldn't reach you or talk to you without these partners. So a round of applause for the partners, please. Malika. One. Two people. Malika. So we are keen on collaboration because we realize to scale, even for us to scale our model, we have to look for local partners, local mentors, guide them so that they can be able to support more entrepreneurs. For us to support 1 million entrepreneurs, it means there is a lot of work in there. Then we work with entrepreneurs indefinitely. Once you reach the level you feel you're okay, then we try and make the services affordable because you're working with some of the premium coaches who naturally will charge you a lot. But we are trying to define affordable ways in which we are able to help entrepreneurs have the best premium expertise. And then convenience, we are incorporating the use of technology. Next. So, we are here pretty much because of PitchFest. PitchFest is a program where we identify entrepreneurs in different parts who have something unique, who feel they are ready for the next level. Okay? And we present them before investors where they pitch seeking money. Okay? So, as you can see, it's basically a program we started in 2020. Next slide. And the journey has been tough but equally interesting. In 2020, which was just after our COVID, we had 22 entrepreneurs, 18 were connected, attracted investors, we were so encouraged. Then in 2021, which was last year, we said, we did this in Kampala, let's move regionally and do PitchFest. So in Western, we actually did in Fort Portal. So in Western, we did Fort Portal where we had 17 entrepreneurs pitch, 12 attracted financials. Eastern, we had 9. Actually, that was during the COVID 42 days, so we had 30 entrepreneurs, but about 20 dropped. Coincidentally, 7 were female entrepreneurs and 9 attracted financing. And then Northern edition, we had 10 and 6 attracted investors. Then we had a national edition where we had 22 out of 27 attract. Now it looks like it's a simple thing, people are just there to give. My dear friends, it is a journey for us to change this mind. But one thing we also realized now, and that's why we are here, this is a clinic and not the PitchFest. We realize that using these percentages, they are high. The percentage reduces to about 20% getting the money because it's like we didn't do our part to prepare people psychologically. Now somebody says, okay, Jackie, you said you wanted 200 million. Okay, present this, we start the process. And now Jackie says, no. But are you sure? But this money. Are you sure there's nothing given? No. But wait. So we realize that you know what? We need to go back and say, you know what? Let's take this slow. Let's go, let's share with you. Let's share that you actually need to start thinking differently. You need to have the vision, let it drive you, then we share for those who are interested, whether it's 1 or 0, because we've noticed for you to be an ego, it really takes a lot of sacrifice. Okay? And we don't mind having 1 or 2, but as long as they are ready, for us we are ready to work with them. Okay? And what we have found interesting is the financials have kept on increasing, not reducing, because the quality of ideas and the quality of businesses have been very unique. And thanks to you, the entrepreneurs. Next. So we've started with a clinic. So this is a clinic, and once you feel you are the person who should participate this year, then we shall discuss how best you can be able to participate. So the pitch fest presents you an opportunity of knowledge and skills, especially on scaling, not growing, especially on scaling. You'll notice the mindset is a bit different. The effort, the strategies needs for you to grow is fairly different for you to scale. If I was scaling a transport business, I will shift from buying vehicles and probably partnering with people who have huge vehicles. I was actually sharing this morning with a group that you can have a transport company without any vehicle. Without any single vehicle. How? Does Uber own vehicles? How many vehicles does Uber have? How many bodabodas does Safe Boda have? How many houses does Airbnb have? Do you know Airbnb? I hope I'm not talking to myself. Do you know Airbnb? We don't know. So Airbnb discovered that people would love to come to your town, and instead of sleeping in the hotel, they would be happy to stay in your home and just be with you at a cost. But they also discovered hotels are not getting enough market because some people don't know Mbarara. So I'll just go to a street and identify where to stay. So they created a platform where you can book a home or a hotel at a cost. Now by them doing that, they have hotels in the entire world. You realize that if you control the market, you almost control the ownership, isn't it? So if I have the market of the transport and you have the vehicles, I can as well order exclusive and say, I need 10 trucks. How much? Get as a copy. You will maintain me and reduce the vehicle.
Yeah.
Are you seeing? Now that is a different mindset. Now they are a global company without owning anything. Safe Boda is in Nigeria. The last time I checked, they had over 1 million bodabodas signed in Nigeria alone, without any bodaboda. And here, if you are the one starting the business, can then now I think it's doing well. I think in the next 5 years I'll have like 15. I'll have like 15. This one has 1 million. Are you seeing? The thought process is different. And you'll notice there's a bit of sharing, synergy. It's a win-win kind of scenario. You win, I win. It's not about you winning. It's now been from being selfish to being selfless. When you climb together on the ladder, you all win. It's not about me winning and you losing. It's about us winning. Are we together? And when so you'll also realize companies that maintain top talent, they sort of give stake. I read in the papers recently, Equity is giving their top brains more shares. Why? They are growing very fast in Africa. And they want to keep these top brains. Because they are producing more. So you need to keep people who are productive. And sometimes you may not pay them enough to keep them. Sometimes you need to give them stake. Next. Yeah, so you access knowledge, wider networks, market access. What we've realized for participants of when you go and meet maybe another entrepreneur in the East, you'll find you may have a product and you can partner, they can be your distributors or they can connect you. So we sort of find, but also you notice when an eagle is flying and finds another eagle, there's a way you go and say, me, I want to expand in Mbarara, and you go and hear. No, for us, we've identified market in Sudan, we've seen market in Kenya, we've seen another market in Rwanda, we need like $1 million. And for you, you're saying, now, I needed like 50K so that I can expand. You realize, I think I need to improve my game plan. Are you together? So when you get exposure, even for us who are exposed when we saw, looks like we are behind. We need to move forward. Next. Yeah, so the program is step-by-step guidance and support on planning, marketing, sales, human resource, financial planning. Because it's about money, we also focus on terms. When you're signing for money, what terms should you be aware? I'm sure you've been reading papers and you know some of the things that have been happening. What are these terms? So that you are aware. Money is not bad, but your priorities and use and the financial structure can make the difference. If you don't engage an advisor, then you engage an advisor later when you've lost it. It's tricky. Are we together? So you need to engage. Have a coach. Yes, we are a bit, we also need to be paid the way you pay, yeah? The way you need to pay yourself. But you need the coach to get to the apex of your potential. So don't look at yourself, I need to grow, but a yield should not grow. But if a yield does not grow, it cannot be able to serve you. Are you together? If it does not benefit, how can it be able to grow as an organization? And that's why we are here. Next. Yeah, at the end, we expect that the entrepreneurs develop a bankable plan, but I'm emphasizing for internal and external. Many times, I can bet here, if you have a business plan, you do not know the contents. If you have a plan here, you do not know the contents. Okay? You know yours. What's your target for 2025?
To cover up all the areas in the Western region.
Well, a round of applause for her. Revenue 2025?
I'm looking at that one I haven't got yet to answer.
So one thing you realize, when we start with the vision, we also go with the numbers. How much should I be making? Now, for me to make that amount, what should I be doing in terms of what scale? So we help entrepreneurs articulate what is here on paper in a way that they understand themselves before others understand. Many times we do it for others. Hey, the father wants a plan. Hey, man, you do something and you bring the same to this man, you finish this process. For us to tell you, let's help you do it in a way that you'll understand, you can explain everything that is in. Because you are the idea there, you are the vision there. So we help you articulate it and present it in a way that you understand, but it can be used internally and externally. Okay? Then obviously, best business management practices on scaling. Okay? You've started, congratulations. What does it mean to scale? It means you want to play on a different level. What kind of mindset do you need? You'll realize the mindset for starting is very different from the mindset of growing or scaling. It's a bit different. The way you approach is a bit different. There's a lot of synergy leveraging on opportunities to take yourself high. Then wider business network, financial linkages, and if we are training, we also give the certificate of participation. Next, investors look for the following. Investors, whenever you present to an investor, they look at something. Number one, they look at your management. Who is behind this business? Imagine some of these people, maybe they have never seen or they have never managed a business of 1 million. But now these people want 1 million, they are playing around 50K. It's a bit difficult. But if I get a CEO who has managed maybe Unilever, they bring and say, this one is going to be our board chairman and whatever. I say, yeah, I think this team, they will be sober. They will not be scared. They will not be sidewind when they see the money, the excitement. Because if you give somebody who has only been seeing 1,000 and give him 20,000, trust me, problems start. He will imagine things he has never imagined. Because he was always budgeting for 1K and suddenly he has 20K. Do you know what happens there? The appetite that he has never had appears. He used to walk. He will look for. In fact, he will even go and say, "Man, even taxis below me. I want this taxi hire, special hire. You take me home." He will be walking. He sees chicken with oil broken down. Are we together? Those are excitements when The people are, okay? So the management, what are their competences? Are they skills that add to the vision? Okay? We have some finance to what level? You get? So the management is key. The market. Investors love the market because the more the market, the more the money, isn't it? The bigger the size of the market, the bigger the size of the money, isn't it? Money, documentation, your paperwork, are you documenting? Accountability, transparency. You've seen this guy say we have accountability, accountant. I wouldn't live here without knowing about accountant. If you have challenges in accountability and you've seen somebody present us, be curious and ask how best maybe. Yeah? Momentum, strategy, how do you want to grow? Do you want to buy land? Do you want to lease? Are you seeing the example of buying versus leasing? This one will lease, he will have more capital to use, or he will have less capital but have more land. Yeah? Next. When you go for financial instruments, leave alone grants, commercial instruments, you always find either you are asking for a debt, it's either a debt which is a loan or equity, which you are giving shares. What we found is it's easier to get debt than equity, mindset-wise here, because people are going to giving shares, isn't it? But there are sometimes you need more money than your company can accommodate as a loan. So this part you can say you want as equity. But one thing you need to know, the kind of money you need depends on how does your business work. Some of you need money just for a season. Yeah? That can work. Some of you may want to build maybe a factory and what, maybe a lot of requirements. There you may need equity. Okay? So it depends. What is the financial need? Is it raw materials or I need to buy assets? Depending on what you need, it determines the kind of money you need. And then the stage, at what level? Are you in the startup? Are you in the growth level? Okay? Next. The one thing I also wanted to share is if you give shares in your business, especially to an investor invests, even if you're giving shares, he wants to exit. In other words, he wants to gain. He wants to use the money to make money and live at some point. Maybe 5 years, it may be 7 years. So, for those of you who fear, but I'm giving shares and this man is going to disturb me for... We have what we call exit. They always have an exit strategy which you can actually discuss and say, you know what, I can buy back my shares that I've given you in 5 years. Obviously, the value of the company will be big. So he can gain, he will still gain, but he can exit if you feel you need to remain as you. Okay? Then, the other alternative is you can ask them to buy the company. We've seen a lot of that, you will see a lot of that outside in Europe. There's a lot of, some people just start a business to sell. They start a business to sell. He will start the business, he will work so hard. It becomes a big brand. Then says, the value has grown to 3 million. You can pay me. For you continue. Then he comes and now starts looking at you with the unique ideas. Hey, he needs just 100K. He needs just one. So he goes and multiplies. The money is gained and then he goes for holiday. Now he has invested in other new ideas which will reach that level. Now for us, we want to struggle for 20 years. The business gives us stress at some point. Stress. The workers escape because we are the ones managing. We even don't want to share accountability. Was he there? So the way you approach it, eventually you find the business even is the one which makes you sick, and also the business becomes sick, and then when you die also the business dies. Next. So I want you to know that there is that opportunity. When you start, usually, many of you think of money from the long-term side, but when you start, usually, if you are producing say 50 liters, the target is usually to help you probably multiply 50 to 1,000 liters. There we don't need long term, we need short term. Find a way of trying to increase production capacity on the short term. Now when you are producing 1,000, it's easy for us to get now a long term capital. Many times the entrepreneurs do not differentiate at what point. So we fear the money, but sometimes that money helps us reach that capacity where we shall attract the big money. But all this happens with technical support and advice, which many entrepreneurs avoid or underlook. They'd rather gain, and the person who is coaching them to lose or not to gain, and then they run forward. Okay? But what we are saying is if you get that expertise, you'll actually get to where you need, because these experts are there. Next. I am concluding. You'll notice that I've spoken so much technically and whatever, but this has to be the seed that we can work with. We cannot work with a fixed mindset. We can only work with a growth mindset. One who sees failure as an opportunity to grow. One who reaches, when you reach another level and you need to learn, excel, you are open to learning. You are open to new strategies because the world is changing, technology is moving, and you probably have to adjust to this new environment. Okay? Feedback is constructive. You do not know everything in your business. Okay? So, she mentioned about she got feedback, she is slow. She can either take it badly and say, I think that customer, I will not serve that customer again. Or she can say, oh, but how can I be faster? What do you think? What would you recommend? Ah, madam, you get young boys and they pack this thing like 100. And for us to come in, it is ready. Are we together? So sometimes feedback helps us improve. Next. There are two mistakes on your way to mastery or on your way to multiplying. For you to multiply, you need to have a fruit. So when you don't start, that means you've not even been got to the position of producing a fruit, isn't it? But here you've started. Most of you say you have started, you're already generating money. So you've graduated from the starting point. Okay? So there are two mistakes along the way of mastery. Not starting it and not going all the way. Now, you cannot go all the way if you don't have a vision of where you are going. Okay? And the vision inspires the goals and the plans. Next. So, talking about Pitch Fest, which we prepare entrepreneurs for investors, when we started what we do, we used to work with only very few entrepreneurs on a personalized level. But because we wanted to support more, we said, okay, let's do a subsidized program where we can support entrepreneurs in groups, because the cost for individual was a bit high because we were charging quite a huge amount of money. So there are those of you who feel you just need support. You don't necessarily need to go to investors. You may have funders, but you need to have your things in order or your strategies or whatever. You may need just the training. So we have, I'll talk about two, but there are three. So we have physical, where the local, where you can say, you know what, me, I want to be guided. One on ground. I want to finish my paperwork, what you people, I want your team on ground. So there, our estimate is about 300 because you cannot be trained, you are not eating and whatever. Okay? But participating in the Pitch Fest, just participating is 50K. Okay? So if you want to just be trained without Pitch Fest, it's 300. If you want to be trained with Pitch Fest, it's 350. If you want to be trained online is you sign up with us and we shall communicate because anyway you'll see the shaping. You will attend either cohort 1 or cohort 2 of the training. It's just for you to organize. The only thing and the only disclaimer online is during COVID we were doing online. What we realized is some people who are present and absent at the same time. You say finish this part, then at the end somebody gets a financial. He did finish the document. So the challenge with online is you really have to be disciplined and follow instructions of the guide because the team dedicates their time. We bring people who really are passionate and dedicate their time, but sometimes the entrepreneurs don't pay attention. So for online it's there, it's just 150 to be trained online on investment readiness. Then if you want to be trained as also participate in Pitch Fest is 200. I want to make just one statement. You do not pay to participate on Pitch Fest unless we have selected. So you can apply when we see that you are ready based on the level that we want, then we select and that's when we pay. This other one for training, you pay before the training. Are you understanding? So for us on pitch fest, it's only when we select because we don't need the money if you're not going to participate. And then coaching is about hand-holding. And many times there is a cost to hand-holding an entrepreneur. So what we do is, if we have agreed your vision and plans and there is a target we are planning, or you feel you are going to get some finance but you need us to be there to be involved when you are negotiating with the investors, or we even help in the negotiation or paperwork and whatever, we usually ask for success fees. Because there we're investing time and we also need to be paid. But you can as well get an investor and you go and you finish your deals at your own convenience. At the end of the day, it's a choice to the entrepreneur. For us, we present the opportunity based on the best possible. If you see how these structures are done outside, you find that it's almost the most affordable way. We are just trying to reach as many entrepreneurs as possible. Next. Okay, the other alternative is we have a YouTube channel where we shall be having some of these trainings, which you can go and follow the training. Okay? How to create your vision, structure in your vision. If you don't have a vision, structure in your mission, your goals, etc. All that will also be available. If you prefer, you may say, there are costs. I think I can just afford bundles. You can go on our YouTube channel. As I say, we're trying to find the best possible way to still serve as many as we can. Okay? Yeah. And we also have a book through the interaction and support we've done with the entrepreneurs. We ended up saying we need to have a simple guide. Because we've seen even top entrepreneurs do not have plans, do not understand where their businesses are going, do not understand their financials, do not understand the drivers of their business, etc. And we made a simple guide. Okay, it's a business planning guide, which when somebody buys, we also send a template. So they can actually use, for each section, you also see an example of how you can present. So it also simplifies. So you may not want that, you may buy the book, it's just at 100K, and you can actually go through, or you can buy and attend the trainings and some of you want to be trainers, you can also do that. It's really, ours is to make more seeds and more fruits for the community to benefit. So the book is also available for those who are interested. Next. Yeah, so our plan, if it is physical, it will be somewhere between August and September, depending on confirmations. So for us, we tailor the trainings based on need. If entrepreneurs confirm and we feel the numbers are adequate, then we do the trainings in any of our partner hubs locally. Okay? And we also work with the local actors. And then virtual, cohort 1 will be 9th to 25th, and cohort 2 will be 20th to 6th. For UCIA seems to be interested in having an accelerator program, but in Kampala. But in Kampala it will be cheaper because obviously the team is there. Okay? There's a cost, but from what I understand, what they were discussing is entrepreneurs can pay 150, but we do physical, okay, so that they subsidize and members gain at least that and can have some of their participants participate. So that is also an option, but that is, you see, at least the discussion that I've seen so far in terms of their interest on scale, because they also want to scale some of their members. Either way, the choice is really on the entrepreneur. Finally, next. Yeah, so if you want to apply, there's this link, it's called app.imuka.co. When you go there, you can submit your application online, or you can actually download a form and fill it, whether it's PDF or Word, we have all that. But we also have physical. We have actually printed physical applications. So if you want to apply for the physical, you can actually apply. We have the application forms. Are you together? You can apply to pitch, or to pitch and train, or to train only, or to pitch only, whichever. At the end of the day, sorry? The forms are here. My colleague Diana has them. Okay? Other than that, I would like to accept any comments, feedback, questions. And I would like to say thank you for the opportunity. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Your presentation has been so insightful. My question is about if we get ourselves as entrepreneurs in a group, do we say that package is enough for you, like 150 plus, like 150 or 300, like we talked about? Like it works for the group, it's one in
if you are in one company, okay, the thing is, for physical, I want you to know the drivers of cost. You know, whenever you are planning, you have to look at the drivers. So if I'm doing a physical training, you have to eat something. You not learn on an empty stomach. You may use some space. Is the partner hosting for free, or he also has, he has to clean the room and whatever. You know, there are costs. You get. So we factor quite a number of things. If you have your room, you have your own food, then those are drivers. We start salarying and say, you know what, we are a group of 10. What does it entail? Are we together? Now we align and see how does it support. So to us, on physical, we look at the factors in terms of location, cleaning. You get. We cannot be here. We are using masanyarazi, we are using water, we are using air, and you also have to. So those are things that we have to factor.
I was not looking at all the me as an organization.
Okay.
My team. I was looking at me and him, we are colleagues. And so if we mobilize ourselves.
Yes, you can mobilize and raise. But you see, that is, we were looking at a certain quorum because there is a cost of, for example, the expert coming. Are we together? So for us, we're looking at this cost can cater for if we have at least this number of people. Okay? So that is something that we can discuss. Okay? Yeah. And there is no limitation. There are also ways we've thought about where we don't necessarily do continuous. We come, an expert comes one day, guides you and then gives you an assignment, then comes after some time. We've been exploring various ways. Our aim is really we want more entrepreneurs to be sober and mature in how they run their businesses and how they pursue their scale-up opportunities. You had a question?
Thank you very much for this initiative. Me personally, I would say that I'm requesting for a form so that I can really go and think about it. I'll be part of the team so that I can go and feed my rabbits. You allow me.
You want to go and feed your rabbits?
Because I see it is time.
It is okay. It is okay. We are basically.
And then your telephone number.
Then I will share the contact. But Aid, who is our host, has a number. Maybe she can just make one card again so that we can share. At least you see I can have and. Okay? Yeah. The phone Diana has, so you can just get it. And we're also online, so when you check, when you go to imuka.co, you will see also our contacts. So you can always reach us. Okay? Any other question? I hope it has been worthwhile for you. I hope it has not been a waste of your time. Yes, please.
Yeah, first I would like to appreciate you for coming by because the session is so helpful and educating and all that.
Sorry, but
And this is something that the whole region would love to have because we had discussed about the discrepancies that had happened, but there is a lot, many people, you would not even afford this room, would be too small for these guys if the communication was streamlined on time. And one question maybe I would put across is that's a financial capacity that you're looking at. What is the range? And then the entrepreneurs still, what categories are you looking at? And that's value addition aspect and etc. Maybe if you can enlighten more about those so that people can have an idea. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So as Imuka, we appreciate that we all have different roles. In the ecosystem, we have different roles. We are not the solution of everything. I've always told people that Imuka does not solve everything. We're just the same way you will see there is a nursery teacher, a primary teacher, a secondary teacher. They all have a role in your growth journey as a business. And we work with our other players. So assuming where we are, we play the role of scaling, helping a business think of scale. Think of scale. And in line with that, we expect the business should have started and is now ready to scale. Because you cannot scale if you've not started. Are we on the same page? You need to start. Now, if I start guiding you to scale when you've not started, I'll be killing you as a business. So it is relevant for people who are ready to scale. They are somewhere they feel this product is so unique. We now need to ensure that it is in every corner of Uganda or every corner of East Africa, and I need to move systematically in that direction. And that's where the journey begins. So we are, in our definition, we are looking at post-revenue businesses. Preferably, they've existed at least 2 more, preferably, but we've also supported those ones who have done less than a year. But usually they are really driven, really aggressive. They are almost, it's like they have been at it before, so they're actually taking it a much higher. So we are looking at post-revenue businesses ready to scale to another level, and they need that technical support and expertise and logic and strategy to actually get to that level. So what we do is we get to listen what is the vision, where they are trying to go, and based on that we help them plan, prioritize, and present themselves in a way that investors will appreciate. But also what we do is sometimes we have to increase your capacity. Maybe the money we're generating is not attractive. He mentioned about having, this is happening a lot. Investors coming to the country and saying, but we have like 2 million we want to invest in companies. Guys are not there. It's not that the money is not there. Sometimes people are not there. The money is there, but your business cannot absorb. But for you to absorb, we have to increase your capacity to absorb. So sometimes we focus on increasing, and then we now go into the money which will push you for long term. So those are some of the things you pay attention to. So sometimes it's a bit slow, depending on what the entrepreneur does. Sometimes it's a bit fast, but generally, yeah, they're about it. I hope I've answered that. Thank you. Next, any question? Any feedback? It's okay. All right. Yes?
Thank you so much. Again, this is our director of operations and design services. Do you only support this person from the business plan aspect up to the financials, or you only doing this person with capacity and somewhere the financials look for you more?
Okay, so the answer is, what does the business want from us? Some entrepreneurs have investors, but they need to understand how they go about it. Some do not have, and they need guidance to access it, fast improvement. Why do we focus and pay attention to planning? Is the planning allows us to prioritize right and focus right. Are we together? So sometimes you have a plan, but we also need to help you refine it. Because you need to speak in a language that an investor appreciates and understands. Okay? So we focus on planning because generally that's one of the points that entrepreneurs are not clear on. Where are you trying to go? How do you intend to do it? How much do we expect? What are you going to incur? And what is the exit plan, depending on the amount of money you need? You get it? So usually there is a lot in line with planning and strategizing, which is now documented, which you can use for internal use and external. it's not just for the investors, but also for you as a person. Clear? Yeah. Anything else? Without further ado, I would like to acknowledge and appreciate Mr. Sankara for the good way he has responded. He used to respond in short notice. Oh, now we need to do this, and he responds in short notice. I am humbled, Mr. Sankara, and we really do appreciate the support, the collaboration, the partnership, and we hope we shall also be working with the elite to support enterprises that are starting from the university, technically just to also ensure that as they are churning out ideas and talents, these are ideas and talents that can actually be able to scale. So we are keen to support even various ecosystem players. Okay? Because together we can do more. It's not just about Imuka, it's not just about ED, it's not just about UCIA. Together we can do a lot more and impact many more. Mr. Sankara, over to you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much also. Shall we go for a round of applause for him? In his version, by the way. I was trying to pay attention to those that are not into it, so that I could repeat. But thank you very much, Google Roy. That was really insightful. Guys, why we hear startups and SMEs making it in Kampala is because they take such things serious, yeah? They take them as important as it could be. We have seen most of them really go a step ahead, especially when it comes to investment opportunities. For whatever chance that comes, they do. And in Mbarara, I guess, I don't know, I expected the father of Ahurire, the Ahurire community. I expected him to come around, but he didn't. But he's one of the guys that was connected in the last edition with Imuka Access. Him and I think Chihebe kind of she's into produce. Those two were actually helped by Imuka to get funding. To get support from I think UNDP and the rest. So the Teach Fest is really important. I think the post that is in, well, he explained on the expenses, but there's also value that you want to attach to something. Yeah, that only always comes from serious kind of individuals. Because you have paid like a 50, then you know now I really have to get my 50 back. The value you're attaching to that, yeah. But that's why these startups in Kampala actually are doing better than we are here, specifically SMEs. But yes, thank you. I only believe that is going to be very, very important. Maybe just a lady and a gentleman to summarize what you got, yeah? Just one. And that is going to be at random, by the way. Yeah? God loves you so much and already prayed for us. Could you have picked anything from this? One or two things you're taking home?
One of the things that I've picked from this share is having a vision. Most of us, as he said, usually do businesses when we are not focusing ahead. You find that you're doing business and you want to survive today. Tomorrow will cater for itself. So you find that you are like, today I have to do, today I have to do this, but next month you don't have any plan for it. So actually I have in my mind that after here, I've started dreaming big from here, and like in 5 years' time, I see myself doing it. Thank you so much.
Okay. Wow, thank you very much also for paying attention. Now, gentlemen, it's your turn. back in my high school, you people in front were Kagezi Munyoze. So show us.
Thank you so much for the presentation. It was really grateful. I learned a lot more than you really knew. So mostly for me, I've come to know that it is all about having a fair mindset and thinking big, what you say. Most of us start businesses and we tend to focus really on just like serving Mbarara or maybe a few parts in Uganda, but we never really try to think beyond. So in order for us to push beyond, we need to actually prepare our minds, because our mind is something to have. That we really want, probably it is, then we start planning. So I really have to make this part of our own businesses, and immediately we have to start planning, strategizing, and we reach out to our same goals. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, David, for that. That was really insightful. And Roy, at least you can rest assured now that you got something, yeah? Oh, not too much. Yeah, so each and everyone, thank you very much for, actively participating. You earn yourself this because so many reasons. Yeah, one final one is to tell us that whoever is actually interested in making it for the Pitch Fest in Kampala, we should be able to welcome you here for at no cost. Take you to, I think, Roy, you're going to share perhaps your pitch deck. We also have a number of them. We take you through pitching kind of training, yeah? A little bit kind of brushing, the best way you could actually stand in front of those guys and pitch your business, yeah? So that when we make it to the Pitch Fest, at least we have a few businesses, getting from the region to win, but also for other opportunities. So this is to say, Roy has opened our doors now to anyone in the house willing to perfect their pitch. I want him to promise that on such a session, when we have him on Zoom, he will actually accept. Will you?
I'm usually available. As long as we align it.
Okay, as long as we align is the key statement. But it's okay. We are going to organize a few sessions on pitch sessions, but also on an individual basis for us here. Internal at it, we want really to go there and shine. So finally, I have 4 books to give out and 4 pens to give out to the most active. Yeah? You already know, at least anyway. There's no doubt at least I know you are active. I saw him questioning me a little bit. So now up for stake is just 3 books and 3 pens. The other active, don't, you could say, the other one was also active. We give them. Jackie was nominations. These guys sound like you need 2 books.
Or I can take one of them and
Yeah, so I have who else? I was active. You guys are getting to be envious. See? I doubt if you were, but since you are standing out to say you were, then it's okay. Maybe you were within your work. So finally, this one really, we are sure they are not active, that's why the lead is not there. So finally, this goes to who? Since you chose Jackie, we're going to get that for you. Otherwise, guys, thank you very much. We just believe that our businesses get to be going. This,
we are actually available briefly, one-on-one, just in case you want to share a bit about what you do and for a bit of guidance. So not sharing long stories, but where you think, okay, this is what we do and we've been trying, what do you think about this? We are happy to interact with you. Eric is here, I'm here. Ron is also here. Yeah.
And by the way, that's the core of a business clinic. We believe you came just like you go to the hospital sick, tell your problem, they're able to diagnose there and then and tell you what to buy, yeah? So within the few minutes he said, we expect you already. If you know you have a pinch in your business, it's so quick to communicate. And they're able to diagnose within minutes and give you. So it's the core of the day anyway. Otherwise, thank you very much. We are going to have one person giving a vote of thanks, and after that, someone else is going to pray for us. We actually call it a day. Thank you very much. I want to thank these people. Finally get to work for the day. Yes.
Thank you so much. So, on behalf of you all, the attendants, I would like to thank the hosts, Imuka Access, for having given us this golden opportunity to give us some training on how one can grow his or her business. I believe each one of us, it might not be huge, but at least you have picked an idea. It could be one or two. And that's enough to start from there. As long as what you have picked, you can put it into practice. With those, I wish every one of us journey masters. Thank you.
Okay, could you choose someone to give us a prayer? Choose. Me? No, me, I was chairman of the election commission. But I think God loves this table, yes, thank you. It was for the rosary.
Okay, for thank you for this time that you have given us this merciful Lord. We thank you for each and everything that you have told us. We should put it in practice so that we can continue with our businesses, so that we can enlarge our businesses. Lord, help us. This is the kind of the way home, so that direct us to the right path that we're taking. So control us as we're going home. Lord, hear our prayers. For those, I pray to you all.
Amen. Okay, well, thank you very much. That was once again, thank you each and everyone for coming. That's how we call it a day, just like you communicated, in case you have a chance to share with them, then they are available. These opportunities are not so many in Mbarara. Otherwise, go and be fruitful, dear others, and multiply. It's multiply and fill Uganda and beyond. Yeah?